Okay, yeah, we are. Hey, what's going on, guys? We're doing another breakdown of the season 7 finale of Game of Thrones, and once again, the Holy Trinity is together. Once again, we have the beautiful Theokius Taylor. What's going on?
I'm a little sick and under the weather, but I'm pulling through.
She wants to talk that Game of Thrones. That's why. We also have the handsome Super Nerdy 81.
Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones.
He's on cocaine. That's kidding.
I have to be. I have to be.
So yeah, there's a lot to discuss about last night's episode. Sadly, it was the last episode of season 7. We're gonna move on to season 8. Whether it be next year or in 2 years, I'm hearing 2 years for the long winter to come. But what I'm gonna automatically just ask you guys straight up, what did you think about last night's episode, and was it worth the watch? So we're gonna go with Taylor first on this one.
Certainly it was worth the watch. I mean, I started watching this show when it began in 2011. It was right after I graduated high school, I think. So I'm years into this show, so absolutely I wouldn't miss an episode. However, Dan might agree with me on this. The pacing and the direction, I felt like a lot of the things that happened in last night's episode, all the buildup, it just didn't invoke that emotion that I'm used to getting in previous seasons.
What do you think about Super Nerd?
Oh, I loved it, every second of it. I mean, it was a really damn good episode from beginning to end. I mean, just the ending was just like, wow. Spoilers, they're finally there. They're in. They're walking.
Are you talking about John's in? Or are you talking about like
No, not John's
in. Which inn are you talking about?
I'm talking about the White Walker end.
I'm sorry. Okay, go on, Jay.
Boy. There was plenty of ends around, yes, but I'm talking about the White Walker ending.
Okay.
Wow.
My thoughts on last night's episode was I liked it, but I did not love it. Honestly.
That's not what your spoiler review said.
The what?
That's not what your spoiler review said.
Yeah, I really, the more I had time to rewatch it, and I really liked it. I thought it was another good episode, but for a season finale, it was kind of a little bit of a letdown, honestly. This whole season has been just paced really bad, just really bad with the pacing. I still just don't understand why HBO or the creators did 7 episodes, because example, of course, when we do this breakdown and we talk about every single moment that happened in this episode of episodes of Game of Thrones, spoilers are bound to come. So the really example of this is let's talk about Littlefinger. Okay, because I don't think he's getting a lot of talk. Because you have, of course, the dragon finally breaking through. You have Jon and Daenerys. You have all these little things. You have Cersei and Jaime. But I think the big death in here was Littlefinger, but it didn't feel that way. It felt like when that scene played out, of course, I think we all knew that Littlefinger was going to bite the dust somehow. And maybe, Arya and Sansa, knew of Littlefinger's plan. And of course, they had Bran to tell him, like, oh, yeah, Littlefinger did all this crap. But that scene should have been like the Red Wedding. That's when it switched on him. You should have been like, oh, shit. But I didn't feel that way. I felt like I watched the scene over and over again, and I still feel like it was kind of written poorly, and the execution was good when it comes to the acting, because I loved the guy who plays Littlefinger's face and his begging and like, oh, Sansa, let's go together alone so I could tell you the whole truth and all that stuff. Love that, everything about that. I just felt like, why did we have those scenes with Arya and Sansa alone with nobody around them, and it looks like they're going to betray each other? What was the need of that? What was the need of that if they kind of knew all along that they were going to go against Littlefinger? Like, I didn't really understand it, and I just really felt like that Littlefinger's demise was just a little bit anticlimactic for that character, especially since he's been around since season 1. What did you guys think about the demise of Littlefinger?
I'll let you go first, James.
Okay. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was really good. I mean, I don't see what you guys see. I'm sorry. I'm just not gifted that way, I guess.
You're not the
I, I,
three-eyed raven, James.
I thought it was done well. I mean, you had Littlefinger's death when I mean I you know, like on the internet people of course spoil everything. So they said there was going to be a major death and he was actually pretty high on that scale of major deaths. So I kind of went into that a little bit, but I mean, like the way it was done really well. I mean, yeah, you had like it looked like you had Arya and you had Sansa at ends with each other, but I think maybe that maybe Arya told Sansa in private and kind of like told her like, hey, you know what, Littlefinger's doing this. Who are you gonna believe more, him or family? And so like they just planned this whole thing together, and you know, like when the guards were brought in and she was right there in front, you know, she all of a sudden just said, you know, you've been charged with all these crimes. What do you think, so Lord Baelish? And then when he looked so surprised and everything, I thought it was done really well. Just the whole, you know, I go on entertainment. I don't go on what you guys do. I go on like wow factor. You know, like you guys break it down into like little like written was bad, and I don't follow that stuff. I don't understand it. So that's why I'm going on entertainment, and I'm going on wow. I thought that was really cool that, you know, they just played it out like that.
I said in I think the last breakdown we did that I could find it believable if Sansa and Arya were having those conversations, so that on the outside, because they knew they were being watched by Littlefinger, that it would seem like they were turning against each other and kind of going along with his plan. The whole trial actually threw me off quite a bit, because for a minute I was getting really, really mad at Sansa, because even though in the back of my mind I kind of wanted that to happen, when it finally turned out to be that they were turning on Peter Baelish, the death I wasn't satisfied with. I liked the twist and turning, because you finally saw Sansa learn everything from Baelish, and she even says it to him. She's like, "You taught me well." She's like, I'm not a fast learner." She's like, "But I learn." And his death, I don't know. I think I would have liked it better if Arya did something a little more gruesome. Yeah, his throat was slashed, kind of reminiscent to the way Catelyn's was slashed in the Red Wedding, but I didn't get the Red Wedding reaction.
Yeah, you know, I really did like how Arya didn't hesitate when she did slash, you know, Lord Baelish Littlefinger's throat. I really loved that, you know, Sansa kind of like learned from her mistakes, and she even said that she's a slow learner, but you know, she learns. I like that. I like the dialogue in that scene. I like the acting in that scene. This is a death though that should have been a little bit. I get the wow factor too, James, because there is a wow factor in there. There's definitely a wow factor in like, yes, finally Littlefinger's going to get his, you know, But I feel like for a character like this and how smart and cunning it is, I just felt like the execution was just a little bit off, when it led up to his demise. And I felt like this is a death that honestly is not going to be the most memorable one going forward after the end of all Game of Thrones, this whole Game of Thrones series. I mean, I think Ygritte's death is going to be more memorable than Littlefinger's death, and that shouldn't be. That should be because Littlefinger has been a conniving snake since season 1, and just the way I feel, and I just feel like it just wasn't just. I needed something a little bit more. I just needed something a little bit more, or at least a little bit more, maybe time to really kind of execute that leading up to the death a little bit better, instead of kind of like trying to fool the audience when we're kind of not really being fooled too much. But
well, I mean, I don't know. I was pretty fooled. I mean, I thought really honestly she was going to go with like blaming Arya, but then when she just did the whole turning on Lord Baelish, I was just like, what? You know, like, I mean, you could tell that it threw off the character, the guy too. I mean, not the, you know, they knew what was happening, but you like when you saw Lord Baelish's face, you know, because he didn't have a way out. You know, he always has a way out. He didn't predict this. That's why, because he predicted everything else. He predicted every other outcome to where he came on top. He didn't think that. He thought he had Sansa in his back pocket like he always does. And so when she finally turned on him, when they planned this out, it threw him off, and he had no escape route. And his only escape route was one, to die, and to beg like a little coward.
I gotta kind of disagree, man. I mean, prior to that, when Littlefinger and Sansa had their own conversation about Arya and stuff, before that whole reveal that actually turned on Littlefinger, you could just watch that conversation. You can listen to Littlefinger trying to play his little mind control. And saying like Arya came here to rule, and
Yeah,
take your
I get.
place.
Yeah, I see that too. I saw that too.
Yeah, I felt like. Go ahead, Taylor.
Yeah, so let me ask you this really quick. How do you guys both feel about the direction that Littlefinger took after him and Varys were separated?
You know what? I'm fine. Overall, his kind of getting the Knights of Vale and getting Sansa and all that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because his polar opposite was Varys, and they were the two schemers behind everything in King's Landing. So once the two were separated and on different ends of the spectrum, how do you think his character changed?
I was feeling that. I was definitely feeling that in this episode. I feel like Littlefinger was a little bit more cunning back in the day, was a little bit more smarter back in the day. I feel like something like this, as much as I knew that this was going to happen, like I said, the execution, the way it happened, I feel like Littlefinger kind of would have had either a backup plan, or it just would have been more difficult to take down Littlefinger than what we kind of got. I feel like, yeah, his character changed a little bit more, and maybe maybe that's the case. Maybe he got a little bit too overconfident. Maybe everything was going so right for him, he felt like there was no wrong that was going to happen. What do you think, James?
I thought the character changes between those two were good. I mean, I think Varys is his name, right? The bald guy. Yeah. He I mean, I think he kind of saw the light in helping out Tyrion, because he had to go with him because Tyrion killed the Lord Lannister, and I think his character changed for the better because he joined with Daenerys, but yet he always has that backup plan too. He always, I bet you he has 10 backup plans just in case this doesn't work out with Daenerys. Because remember, Daenerys threatens him and saying that that if you betray me, I'll burn you. And so with that in the back of his head, and then of course with the witch, saying that he's gonna die there too. He has all this probably going through his head. I thought his character changed for the better. As with Lord Baelish's, I mean, I just thought that he thought he had Sansa in the back of his pocket like he always does, and he just thought I had nothing to worry about. I have backup plans, but I just didn't think he predicted this at all. I just this is one thing he did not predict.
How did he think? Realistically, why would he think that he had Sansa in the back of his pocket?
Because he's always had her in the back of his hand.
Always after Ramsay Bolton, he should know better. After Ramsay, even I don't know how many times Sansa has thrown this in his face about Ramsay Bolton, and he should know that she is still going to harbor. He should know. He should know that Sansa hates the shit out of him, even if he thinks that Sansa is coming for him for her his aid. He should know that she still probably. I mean, she brings that up all the time throughout the series, so he should know better. I will say though that I think after Varys and Littlefinger and they kind of separated and they did their own thing, I think the game got too big for them. I think the game got too chaotic. The game got too big. They controlled it back in the day, but when you have White Walkers that they didn't think were real, when they came involved, a lot of things just went. It didn't go to according to plan, and everything started to change. The players started to change. The whole game just started to be more complicated, and I think that's what led to Littlefinger's downfall, and I think that's going to lead to Varys' downfall as well in season 8. Taylor, what do you think?
Going back to your comment on Sansa and Littlefinger, Sansa kind of pulled the wool over his eyes. She played kind of in a sense the way he's always done, being two-faced and pretending to be on one side while behind the scenes doing another. And she kind of reverted back to that child that she was in the first couple of seasons. However, this time she always kept it in the back of her mind that he was not a good guy. And despite everything he did to her family, marrying her to Ramsay Bolton, she went back to this, I have no one else to trust, so I'm going to trust you front. And I think he got so cocky to the point where he thought, oh, I'm doing all this stuff to her and she's still going to follow me around like a pet. And that was his downfall, was thinking that Sansa was going to just go along with everything.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So before we get to Jon and Daenerys, let's talk a little bit about Cersei. Let's talk about Cersei. Let's talk about the meetup. Let's talk about the Dragon Pit meetup with finally we got all these players together. We got the big players. We got Cersei. We got or Cersei. We got her. We got Daenerys. We have Jon. What I really loved about that whole meetup, though, is we got characters that we haven't seen interact with each other for a long time. We got Tyrion and Bronn. We got the Mountain and the Hound interaction. We got Brienne and the Hound. We had Jaime and Brienne. I mean, there was a lot of characters interacting with each other that kind of brought a smile, definitely brought a smile to my face. I want to ask you guys, what did you think about the meeting of everybody and finally showcasing, the White Walker? And then also, what was your favorite interaction heading into that Dragon Pit or in the Dragon Pit?
My favorite interaction was between Brienne and the Hound, because the last time they saw each other, they were trying to kill each other. And I like how they had a conversation about Arya, and, he asked who's protecting her now, because not only does that show that he actually really did care about her when they were together, but I love her response, and that's, she doesn't need to be protected, and whoever causes her to protect herself, I pity them, or I fear for them, because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I agree. Like just seeing all the people come together, it was really good. I liked it, every minute of it. My favorite was the Hound and the Mountain coming together, and they're just like, I just love how he just walked straight up, and then he walks out. He didn't walk out because he knew the Hound. He walked out because he was protecting Cersei, because he's a mindless zombie. And so I love how he just tells him, if I don't know if you remember me, I don't know if you know me, but I can see that you're more uglier than I am now. and I just love that meetup, because hopefully there's gonna be something there. There's gonna be like a major clash, and I didn't even know this, but the Hound he's tall himself, man. He's huge too. And he's strong. The way he was carrying the White Walker box.
Oh man, dude. When those two go at it, it's gonna be so awesome.
Yeah.
It's a toss-up for me. It's either Bronn and Tyrion, because I really love those two together. And then Bronn saying, I was still looking after myself, man. And then Tyrion just kind of walking like, I missed you too, you little fucker. That's what I thought Bronn was thinking all the time. But I'm gonna go with actually Brienne and Jaime, because towards the end, after Cersei said, was pissed that Jon didn't bend the knee to her, didn't bend the knee either way. Like, he already bent the knee to Daenerys. When she storms out, and then Jaime's following behind, and then I thought that was crazy. Like, Brienne going, hey, you need to talk to, you need to talk to your sister, like, about honor and loyalty. And then she said, like, fuck loyalty, like, fuck honor. Like, that's not Brienne. Brienne is all about that. And her to say that was really something. So, and I really loved, I think this is the person that changed Jaime. And this is the character that made us like Jaime, because if it wasn't for Brienne, I don't think we would have liked Jaime at all. So for Jaime interaction with Brienne, I think that has a lot to do with also what happens towards the end, where she may say fuck loyalty and fuck this, but I think that rubbed off, when she did say loyalty and I had to, fulfill the promise and stuff. I had to be a true knight and everything. I think that rubbed off a little bit towards Jaime. And you could see that, like, when, Cersei kind of backs out on the deal. So, Taylor, what did you think about Cersei, the conversation, the whole bit, with the White Walkers, Cersei, the Jon and Daenerys coming in with her dragon? What did you think about that whole scene? And did it live up to the hype of all of them finally coming together? Those three main players.
The moment that the Hound brought up the box with the walker in it and it didn't move for a minute, I'm like, well, there goes their last shot. And I started thinking, for TV purposes, what if when they get so far away from the Night's King that they just don't animate anymore? So that for a minute ran through my head. And I was kind of fearful. I was fearful that this whole meeting was going to be for nothing. And then, of course, it, psyched you out. And, he pops up and starts running at Cersei. And then the moment that Jon is showing them, how they work and what you can do to kill them. And I don't know. Cersei was so easily swayed in that one moment that I was like, this isn't Cersei. I'm actually surprised by this. And another thing in that scene that kind of struck me was the way that Dany entered that scene. I thought it was really wonky. The animation in that particular scene kind of took me out of it. But that's, you guys know, especially James knows how critical I can be of that stuff. It was just the moment that Drogon landed there. It didn't look like there was anybody on her back. And then it cuts to Cersei and a couple other people looking at her. And then he kind of lowers his head a little bit. And then she's like, it looks like she's wobbling. And I don't know. And she steps down looking like a badass. And it's like,
she's like, hi guys.
By the way, I have dragons. Did you forget?
I don't think. Go ahead.
Well, she wanted to show the intimidation factor, and I get the CGI wasn't there and everything, but I just think that she brought him in, one, to be a flashy and to show, hey, I got dragons. What do you got? Like basically measuring, like doing a pissing contest with Cersei. Like, I got an army, I got 2 dragons still. So, and
that's the cool thing, is that I was hoping that Cersei noticed that. I was hoping somebody would say, like, hey, she only has 2 dragons here. Where's the other one? Yeah. And they did. Towards the end, they did. And Cersei already knew, like, hey, something happened to that dragon. So they're vulnerable. That's the one thing I really appreciate.
Yeah, I like that.
You're right, Taylor, that Cersei just like saying, like, oh, automatically being swayed. I mean, of course, it could happen, especially when you just see this thing, because what I really appreciate is the White Walkers in Game of Thrones, because they're frightening. They're frightening. They're scary. They come at you full force. I felt like that White Walker was frightening. I felt, even in the daytime, I felt like he was. It was something to behold, and it was a little bit weird though that Cersei is just kind of like automatically, because that character, like Taylor said, like wouldn't really necessarily do that, and we kind of find out towards the end that she didn't. She's still gonna backstab everybody. So let's get into that. What did you guys think when it came to finally learning that, well, let's first get into the scene with Cersei and Tyrion. What did you think about that scene, guys?
I thought she was gonna kill him. I honestly thought that Tyrion was gonna die then. It's like, but yet he's like a loved character. I don't think he would go out that fast, but yet I was thinking the Red Wedding, and then I'm all like, George R. just kills off people. And but I honestly thought that she was gonna kill him. I like I was on the edge of my seat, like going, is she gonna kill him? Is she gonna kill him? And then I was watching it with my buddy at work, and I was all like, is she gonna kill him? I was all elbowing him. She's gonna get him. She's gonna get him. So I was shocked with that scene. I love that scene between them. It had really good, like, they're kind of pouring out their feelings to each other in a way. He was telling her, like, I didn't kill him. I would never do that. I loved my nieces and nephews. And then I mean, you guys correct me on this, but was she blaming him for Tuffin's death too?
Tommen?
Yeah, Tommen, whatever his name is. Was she blaming him for that too?
Kind of.
Well, yeah, her point of view was that because he killed their father, that left them open to all of their enemies, because Tywin was the driving force behind the Lannisters. And everyone who knew Tywin didn't give him any shit, and he knew how to handle all the other noble houses. And the thing with Cersei is she's such an emotional responder, and that's how she deals with it. Instead of going more strategically, she has her moments where she'll plan something out and, it'll be strategic. But for the most part, if she wants you out of there, she's going to get you out of there. And that's exactly what happened with the Tyrells. When the sept exploded, she was completely acting on emotion. And that's something that Tywin wouldn't have done. And that ended up causing her last son to commit suicide. But she believes that Tyrion is responsible for everything with their family. And in that moment, I honestly did think that she was going to kill him. And I was relieved that he didn't die. And it really just showed you something else about Cersei. It showed that as much as she hates him, he's still her blood. And she's running very, very low on people that she can actually rely on. And even though she has bad blood with him, he's still her brother.
Yeah, I like how you pointed that out, because when I watched that scene, I'm like, why didn't she kill Tyrion? What was the reason why she didn't do it? Because she wanted this guy dead the whole time. The only thing I could think of is for her plan to succeed. You know, she kills Tyrion, everybody's going to go after her right there and then. If she doesn't, you know, her plan starts moving in motion where she's going to have like just pretty much, she's not going to send her army over there, or she's going to betray him. Basically, she's going to betray him where like she'd rather have the White Walkers just like kill them off while she goes and be safe. And then eventually maybe Tyrion will die in the process. That's the only thing I could think of. But I think that was the scene between Tyrion and Cersei was the best, definitely one of the best scenes in the episode. It just really, I was waiting for that one because those two really have that good, those two actors have that great chemistry, which I learned is actually they're friends. And actually Peter Dinklage is the one that told, because they were auditioning a lot of people for Cersei, and he said like, oh, well, my friend here, she, why don't you bring her in and have, you know, test her out. And then that's how Lyanna Heading, I believe her name is, became Cersei. So they're actually best friends in real life. And they actually, when they have to hate each other on scenes and they do their they go one-on-one, they laugh throughout a lot of the takes because they're like, I don't, you know, we have to hate each other, but we love each other, we're best friends. So I find that pretty funny when I was watching the scene. But they're so good at it. They're so good, and it really kind of just like, it really, example is, look at Sansa and Littlefinger's scene. They had an intimate scene in this episode, you know, about the betrayal, about Littlefinger trying to turn Sansa into, you know, betray Arya and stuff. Look at that scene. Even though I was engaged, I wasn't too engaged. But when Tyrion and Cersei had a scene together, I was super engaged. I was like listening to every word they were saying. And then I was thinking too, Tyrion, you got balls, dude. You got balls to say, you know what? Strike me down. I killed your children. I killed your father. I killed your mother. Like, he was just like kind of just like antagonizing her. So the thing that was a little wonky though in that scene was like how she was holding her stomach. I don't know if she was intentionally trying to get Tyrion to automatically figure out that she was pregnant. Either way, he did figure it out. So what interesting is what happened after that. What did Tyrion tell Cersei, or what did Cersei tell Tyrion after he found out she was pregnant to make her sway over to the cause? Even though we all know the motive, the very end of the motive, but I wanted more. I was like, okay, what's going to happen after this? And we didn't get that. We just kind of got back to Jon and Daenerys. But I'm very interested to see what was that going on with that conversation afterwards.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was more engaged. It's thunder and lightning here in Illinois. I'm sorry. I was more engaged with Tyrion and Cersei than I was with Littlefinger and Sansa, and I'm wondering if that's like what you said, Dan, because what Peter and Lena have is this a great understanding of each other. And to be fair, Sophie Turner, she's been acting for a few years now on the same show, but she's still a fairly new actress. And I think she's still trying to figure herself out sometimes, because a lot of the times in scenes that she's in, she's very one-dimensional. And it's hard for me to connect with her as I did when she was crying, when she was struggling and pleading for her family's safety. And now I feel like she's wooden and kind of still. Arya does it in a different way because of of her strength, and because she knows that I'm giving you what I am. Like, I'm this strong in real life, and if you test me, then I'll show you. And that's why Arya walks around with this new presence that she has. And back to Tyrion and Cersei, I think for a moment she really seriously did consider ending his life, and that says a lot about her. But when you fast forward a little bit, she does the same exact thing with Jaime. And I think she really wanted to kill Jaime more in that moment than she did when she was talking with Tyrion.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, because I mean, you see it all in the Mountain's expression. I mean, like when he said, when Tyrion said to Cersei, "Strike me down," he only had his hand on his sword. Ooh, you're gonna have me strike down? His sword was fully drawn, ready to go. And just ready for the command. I think one, it was an intimidation factor, with him, like trying to intimidate because he's so big, with the mountain and everything. But I think Jaime knew the whole time, like no, deep down, I know she loves me. And the same thing goes for Tyrion. I think deep down, she still loves him too. She still considers him, even though she does, she calls him names. She did all this mean stuff when they were kids. He's still a Lannister, deep down, is still her brother. So I don't think she would execute family that fast. But I just think that the love's still there, but it's just buried beneath all the hatred, but it's still there. Love, you gotta love your family. It doesn't matter how much they screwed up or anything like that.
Well, their dad always talked about, legacy. It was all about the Lannister. Where the Starks have, like, especially Sansa's little ending saying, harkening back to Ned about, like, the lone wolf and then the wolf pack. That's the same kind of with the philosophy with the Lannisters with Tyrion. Really kind of like saying, like, legacy. It's all about, we, us as a family, and everybody else, we're against them. But going into Jaime and Cersei, that was another interaction. That was another scene that was very powerful too, because this finally, Jaime sees really the monster of Cersei and what she's gone. She's gone from, like, she has become mad. She is the Mad Queen. She is the Mad Queen at this point, and he sees that. And I'm glad that Jaime left her to keep his promise to help, the Starks and to help with this war, because Jaime knows that this is the war to end. This could end humanity itself. I love the line he gives Cersei, just saying, like, what are you talking? You do know that somebody wins over there, right? And then whoever comes, if the dead come, we're dead. If our enemies win, we're still dead. And I did like how they're using the Iron Bank instead, because they really kind of emphasize that this season of the Iron Bank, and how Theon, Uncle Greyjoy, actually has a sneaky ass plan, which I'm very happy, because I was about to say, if that dude just kind of tucked his tail down and just ran away, I'm like, you're no better than Theon. But he's actually going to go get more recruits. He's going to go pay those people to Cersei's going to have another army. And but I did really enjoy Jaime's and Cersei's interaction, and just how Jaime finally kind of broke away from her.
Yeah, and I have to say, I'm starting to feel bad for the Mountain now, because Cersei keeps telling him over and over again that, if they do this, then kill them, or kill them in whichever order you want, and threatening to kill both of her brothers. And he doesn't do it. So I felt bad for him. He's like, oh, I don't ever get to kill anyone anymore.
I feel like Cersei, like, went up to him, like, a long time ago when, when I was just watching that, like, scene, I'm like, she had to, like, went up to the Mountain and go, like, I get crazy, okay? And especially when I'm drunk. Don't you ever kill Jaime. Whatever I say, don't you ever kill Jaime. You hear me? Like, I feel like that at one point she said that to the Mountain. But then she's like, oh, but you can kill everybody else I say to kill. But don't you ever kill Jaime, even if I say to kill him. I don't know why I was thinking that the whole episode. Why I thought like maybe she did say that to the mountain at some point, but
let me bring this up real quick. When John and everyone else were showing Cersei the White Walker, Qyburn picked up the hand. Now he has some interest in that kind of stuff. That's how he used science and all kinds of other stuff to bring the mountain back to the way he is now.
The Frankenstein of Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So do you think that it was coincidence that they had him pick it up and look like he was studying it a little bit? Do you think he's going to try to use that for some purpose?
I was looking at that scene, and honestly, I was like, I thought there was a reason for him to do that. I was like, maybe he could find a way also to defeat the White Walkers, like another way. But for how fast this series goes and how many episodes are left, I think it was just really, honestly, just picking up the arm and studying it. I think that character is just exactly what he would do, would just look at it and see like, how the hell is this what kind of sorcery is this or whatever. But
he's a maester.
Yeah. I don't think anything's going to come out of it, honestly. I think it was just like what the character would do, and that was it.
Maybe he looked at it and said, hey, maybe this is a giant mountain 2.0. Like, because the mountain's really slow and really big, and he's probably deteriorating, and he's all like, oh, hey, this is a faster version. Maybe I can study it really quick to make it a better mountain.
Let me put this forward to you guys. Do you think that at some point the mountain could free think and kind of turn on Cersei? Maybe not kill her, but stop following orders?
I think he's not gonna turn on her, but I think that when the Hound said it, when the Hound and him met, like, oh, look at you fucker, you're uglier than me. He's like, oh, you know who, like he knew who the Hound was. Like, there was still something there. You could just see it in the eyes. You could see it in the eyes. I don't think it wasn't a coincidence that they had the reveal of at least the mountain's eyes, because I think there is still something there, but not enough to revolt against Cersei. And you got to remember, the Hound or the Mountain is one of the most piece of shit characters in Game of Thrones. The dude's a rapist. The dude's a killer. The guy freaking got the Hound, burned his face, and his father is covered for him. Mm-hmm. So the Mountain, in the books and in a lot of the history that we don't see, the Mountain is one of the most despicable characters on this show. So most definitely, like, the shred of humanity, little shred, but more of like, I know you are my brother and I kind of want to kill you right now. So I don't know. The Mountain's always going to be this bloodthirsty kind of like rapist killer, but he's good at following orders, and he was good at following orders before he turned into a zombie. So that's how I feel about the Mountain, what's going on with him right now.
Yeah, I think the same thing too. I just think that he's a mindless, like, follower. I don't think he's ever going to turn. I think the worst that's going to happen to him is probably him and the Hound are going to fight it out, and the Hound's hopefully going to win. Yes, that's what I think about that.
That kind of worries me, because I remember last season, the Clegane Bowl theory was at its max as far as being hyped. And then we saw the Hound in a very opposite direction. He was very far north and very far away from the Mountain. So it almost seemed like it wasn't going to happen. But now they are right in front of each other. And I don't know. I can't see the Mountain ever not being armored. And he is like a tank. And I think the Hound is really going to be, in for the match of his life if that occurs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That armor, man, that armor that the Mountain had, the new little armor. It was, man, he just looked like a bowling, like one of those wrecking balls just coming at you. I think the Hound's going to win, though. I think the Hound, if that happens, I think the Hound's going to win, because the Hound is a survivor. And the Lord of Light isn't done with him yet. So I think he'd find a way to win, honestly.
I think what would happen though if they were to go one-on-one, this is what would happen. Probably like they'll be fighting. All of a sudden, the Hound knocks off the Mountain's mask, and you actually get to see what he actually looks like, and then head will come off.
I would love to see what the Mountains.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would
love to see that.
Oh yeah.
Get on it, makeup department.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's get. I mean, they've been on points lately, and yeah, I gotta say, I will say in Game of Thrones this season, the style, the wardrobe, the sets have been beautiful. The new clothing that the characters have, like Jon, Daenerys' new look, even like a lot of the Jorah, or just a lot of the new design wise and costumes and everything. They look great. They look really top notch, and I'm really liking what the wardrobe department is doing over there. Jon looking good, man. Jon looking like a stud. He looking like a king. But Daenerys looking strong too. Like that.
I'm feeling the costume design this year. They had an excellent special effects and costume makeup team and all that to begin with. They've won all kinds of awards for it. But I feel like they really stepped that up this season. I mean, Cersei looks like the epitome of evil in her outfits, and that's the illusion that goes into character design, and that goes into costume design as well, is you just being able to look at a character and know what they're all about without them having to say their lines. That being said, I want to ask you guys how you felt about Jon's interaction with Theon.
I was just about to get into that too. James, what did you think, man?
I mean, like, to be honest with you, I thought that, he was just like gonna like say, like, go away, you're a coward, get out of here, I don't want to see you. But he just but that's not Jon. Jon's a very honorable man. He likes to keep to his word and everything. So I was just like really happy that he told him to go get your sister, basically. Like, she fought for you. She's the only one to go get you when you were weak, and but you didn't want to go with her, so she ended up leaving you there again. But when I just think what happened was he just got too scared, got too intimidated by his uncle, and that's why he jumped ship. A bit coward overall. But now that he basically got his balls back, figuratively speaking, when he went to go fight, it's so funny. His crew was so funny. Like, I love that fight and what they have with the captain, when he was getting his ass handed to him. Theon's not a fighter at all. So he was getting his ass handed to him, but then when he started kicking him in the balls and it wasn't doing anything to him, he was all like, what? And then all of a sudden, like, they were all against him. But then when he defeated that guy, he was getting out of breath quick. That one pirate, man, he needed to do something.
Oh, like, yeah, dude, he needed Diet Coke, man.
Yeah, but then it's so funny because when he died, because they were all against him, but then when he went down, everyone's all, yeah, we'll go get her now. Woo!
I know.
That's the thing about not the Greyjoys, but what are they called? Ironborn?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. That's the thing about them. It's a Viking-esque culture, and whoever shows strength, I mean, that's the one you follow. Yeah. And that's exactly what that other guy was doing by challenging Theon, because while in other parts of Westeros, Theon would have controlled because of his title and because of his heritage. That's just something that you're given. But for them, it's a completely different story. It's who's the strongest. It's, that's who they're going to follow. So when this guy stepped up to challenge Theon, it was like, all right, now it's like a prison kind of thing that I thought of from another movie that I watched. It was like, when someone calls you out, you need to defend yourself and you need to step up. And that's what Theon did. And as soon as that was over, which I love the kicking him in the no man's land. That that was great. There's nothing there. So he was like, gotcha.
Yeah.
That was only ace up his sleeve right there.
I got no dick.
No, that's the one move you have to do, when to bring somebody down right there. And it didn't work.
So they instantly went on Theon's side after that. And I think that he's not going to get questioned again when it comes to that. And Yara is needed in the end game. I hope she does live, because after they deal with everything up north, they're going to go back to fighting each other again eventually, or maybe not. We'll see what happens and see what their end game is. However, you need someone on your side that's higher up in power in all these different locations in Westeros. And Yara was on Dany's side, and they need somebody who's going to be involved with Dany and Jon now.
I totally agree, Taylor. Like,
Yeah.
especially with the Ironborn being Vikings, because look at Uncle Greyjoy. Look how mad that guy is, but look how strong he is too when it comes to battle. The guy's bloodthirsty. The guy is leading them for a reason, because they see a crazed animal who's leading these guys up to battle. And that's I can see that culture. I can see that, definitely that culture. And even though he's not the most lovable guy in the world, he's not Jon. The guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to win, and they want to win. So Uncle Greyjoy is definitely this. There you go. That's what Ironborn's all about. They're not the smartest people in the world, but they're one of the deadliest. I will say Theon and Jon's interaction was something I was looking forward to, because Theon essentially, he betrayed not only the Stark family, but he really betrayed Robb. I've been watching scenes of the young wolf, on YouTube. I've been going back and watching some Robb Stark scenes, because I love Robb. When he was alive, he was an awesome character. He was a lot like Jon. He was a lot like Jon. He had more maybe of a military kind of mindset than Jon. I remember I was reading one comment below and saying that at the point of Robb Stark winning all these battles, he's like only 16 in the books.
Yeah.
The dude was like Alexander the Great. And I never thought about that before. And I'm like, that's a really cool idea. So with Theon betraying, essentially his brother, and Robb thinking that Theon was his brother, I always wanted to know, like, okay, Jon has that in mind. Jon has that Theon betrayed Robb. And how Jon looked up to Robb. He wanted to hate him, but he just loved him because everybody else loved him. So it didn't. That's the one thing I was kind of disappointed about the conversation, was Robb not being mentioned, and more of Ned. Ned has been mentioned throughout the series, but it would be nice for other characters to be mentioned. Same with Catelyn Stark. Catelyn Stark was only mentioned because of Littlefinger and the betrayal he had pitying the sisters. But there should be more mention of, like, I miss my mother, with Arya Sansa, but it's more like I miss my dad. And I know Eddard Stark was amazing. Sean Bean was amazing. Like that character overall that's where a lot of the kids got their philosophy and everything from. But I felt like, with a lot of these conversations, like, there ain't really too much love for, like, everybody else now, is there? Not really name dropping a lot of the other people that were in your lives. But I will say, though, the Theon and Jon interaction was really good. It just really showcased how much Jon should be king at this point. He could hate Theon forever, but he told him, it's not my place to forgive you, but what I can do, I forgive you. I forgive you. And that just showcases more of why Jon's like kind of the champion of everybody, and why everybody kind of agrees that, Daenerys may take the throne, but even Daenerys kind of fell for this guy. So Jon could, I would love to see Jon on that throne, but realistically, I think he's going to die in season 8, but we'll get into that later. So I did really enjoy the conversation. It was a long conversation, but I thought it was a really good conversation. I thought it was a really good conversation between those two. And it was needed for Theon to finally, that was, like James said, the kick in the ass to finally kind of like gain more courage, because his sister's not with him. Jon is now telling him, like, you need to go get that person who, even Theon said, like, that was the one person who had my back. So speaking about Jon, let's get right into it. Let's get right into Bran and Sam discovering more about Jon's lineage. We find out what Jon's real name is. We find out, we see a flashback of that wedding between Rhaegar and Liliana. So the question to you guys is, what did you think about finally seeing Rhaegar? And do you think that was the right actor to play him? And what did you think about Bran finding out from Sam that there was actually an old wedding. So what did you think about overall that whole thing about learning about Jon and the boat sex?
Hey, you take the boat sex, James.
Come on, James. I know you want to talk about the boat sex.
Well, no, I just thought it was gonna happen. I mean, God help, act your age.
Compose yourself, man. We're in serious conversation here about boat sex.
It was gonna happen. All I gotta say is they both have really nice cheeks. That's all I gotta say.
James was looking at both of them. Did you hear that?
Oh my God.
Oh man, I was like, man, dude, I gotta go back to the gym. That's all I gotta say. But no, okay, wait, for real. No,
I like how you say for real, like this is gonna change anything.
I know. I just knew it was gonna happen. Like they were you could tell that they were falling for each other between all the acts that they did. Between like her just seeing what kind of man Jon is, and then Jon seeing her for what kind of woman and queen she'll be. You just see that chemistry just forming, and then finally after they had that little talk in the corner, holding that human bottom jaw, they were they were something that's gonna be there. What I was wondering is what was Tyrion doing, spying in the corner down there, being all creeper. He's all behind the thing, like no one can see him because he's short, but still he's just hiding there, just staring at them.
I'm gonna address that real quick. Okay, I'm gonna address that real quick because what I took out of it was that he was in love with Daenerys. I took it that he was in love with Daenerys and seeing what happened between those two, or what I'm hearing too, whatever pact that he made with Cersei has to do with maybe what it might, his plans might be awry, whatever pact Cersei had with him having to do with maybe Cersei's baby, because there was I like how you talk about the dragon pits, because Jon mentions about how, or Daenerys mentions about, lineage, how she cannot have, she's the last of her people, and she have kids, and then Jon's like, who told you this? Well, the witch who murdered my husband. And he's like, oh, well, you think that's a reliable source at that point? I think Daenerys is going to get pregnant. Honestly, I think Daenerys is going to get pregnant, and I think that's going to, either Tyrion had some kind of pact with Cersei that maybe for the Iron Throne, maybe the Lannisters still remain Iron Throne, and that kind of throws another wrench into the plan. Or honestly, but the way I took it is that he kind of was in love with Daenerys, and seeing Jon and Daenerys, he knew, but actually seeing it kind of broke his little heart.
Well, yeah, because like he was just over there, just like he was mad. You could tell he was mad. He was just like staring at them, just pissed. And so I was just like, "Wow, dude!" Maybe
he was in love with her. I honestly think he was in love with her, and that's how I took the scene. Honestly, it was just like a little bit, because he walks away very slowly and head down, like everything you need that showcases like a man defeated in love. And so I just really felt like that was the whole reason why we got to see Tyrion. And maybe somebody, if Daenerys does get pregnant, maybe somebody who knows how, to really kind of claim like, oh yeah, that's one of the rightful heirs of the throne too. That's a legitimate kid right there, or something like that. But James, what did you think about also Rhaegar being involved in the scene?
When I saw Rhaegar, I automatically thought of his son. He looked just like his son. I thought, oh, he's back.
I really did.
Yeah, I really thought it was, because it looked just like him, and I kind of wish they got like someone else to play Rhaegar. Like maybe have the features of his son, but look different. I guess I want to say both.
No, Rhaegar, I'm getting confused. Rhaegar is their older brother. So there was Viserys, Dany, Rhaegar is the older one. So
okay.
Yeah, you're thinking about Viserys, right? Because the dude looked just like Viserys.
Looked just like Viserys.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about what I thought of the Dany and Jon thing, and then we have a question from.
You talk about boat sex, Taylor?
I'll talk about that boat sex. So I think what took away from the scene, in my opinion, was Sam and Bran's voiceover. I would have preferred to not have them voice over during that scene because it was a very intense scene for both Jon and Dany. And I would have liked to have enjoyed just the music, or maybe them have some intimate conversation beforehand before jumping into that. But I think it was just like a weird way of sliding in that information on top of something that's already important that's happening. So you got two really important things happening at the same time, and your brain is trying to take both those cases in at the same time. Also, I thought that when Jon knocked on her door, he had the biggest "let me smash" face on that I've ever seen.
So, but you saw Daenerys' face, right? She's like,
come in.
Smash. I'll let you smash. Let's do this.
I'll let you smash.
You looked at each other like, smash.
We got to run into this question real quick. So Havoc Payne says, which dragon breath or dragon fire will be stronger, the blue version ice or the orange fire?
I'm gonna take this real quick, James, because I've always learned that the blue flames are always stronger than the red flames.
I agree.
So I think the blue flames is definitely going to be more stronger.
Well, I mean, like you saw what the red flames did. They just did was just blow up stuff. Yeah, they blew up little things, and yeah, it's fire. It hurts. It burns. Yeah, but what we saw what the blue flames did was just penetrate that wall. And I guess heat will penetrate because it's pure ice, that wall is. But I just think that like it's like a cold fire, I guess you could say, is the best way to describe it.
That's what I thought it was. I didn't think it was actual fire. Yeah.
And just the way it was blasting through that wall, I mean, I think it's way stronger. I think the blue fire is way stronger.
What do you think, Taylor?
I have to agree with you, Dan, too, because you're absolutely right. When you're looking at a flame, especially from a match or a lighter, the blue color is actually the hottest. So then there's the fact that dragons are always kind of a source of magic in and of itself. And then on top of that, you have this dragon that was, and I hope we find out more about the power that the Night's King has, because we still haven't figured out exactly what the force behind their power is in the TV sense. And so on top of the fact that it's a dragon, which has its own kind of mythicism about it, you have the power that the Night's King used to resurrect it. So it's kind of a powerhouse. And I'm wondering if the other dragons, even though there's two of them, are going to stand a chance against this other dragon.
Oh, it's gonna be a hard. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. I think. I really feel like all the dragons are gonna die by the end of this series. I've said this multiple times, and I'm pretty sure that Viserys, the dragon, is gonna take out at least one of them or two of them.
Oh yeah, he's not gonna take out the main one that she rides. Drago.
No, Drogo, yeah.
No. Drago. I think what's gonna happen is that the Night King. What's the name of one he has?
The Night King.
Yeah, what's the name of the dragon?
Viserion.
Huh?
Viserion.
What? Varian?
Viserion.
Oh, Viserion. Okay. Viserion and Drago are gonna go at it because like he became. I agree with you guys. I think he became a lot stronger because dragons having their own mythos and everything too. That being dead gave him a little bit more strength, and then when Drago fights him, I just think that they're gonna end up killing each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a crazy battle when all three of the dragons go head on. But I think Viserion and the Night King have a little bit more of an advantage because one, they're dead, and two, that blue flame. It's interesting. It's an interesting combination. I wanted to get back with the boat sex real quick. Taylor, I don't think I disagree with you often, but I disagree with you this time.
What?
I think the narration with the scene worked perfectly, honestly. I think that first of all, I love Sam and Bran. I think that's maybe a bromance for me, just saying. But what I really hate about that scene though is like when Bran tells him like, yeah, John's not really, he's really Targaryen, but he's a bastard Targaryen, and Sam's like, no, he's not. He's got an old, like, so you remember what Gilly was telling you, huh, Sam? You remember that shit? So not only that is, how does Bran not know that already? How does he
asked that same question? Sorry to interrupt, but that immediately stuck out in my mind because Sam is correcting his information, and Bran was like, "What do you mean?
Yeah, how do
you not know that? You know everything else."
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you think you want to like find out like every single thing? Like you want to see what started Robert Baratheon's, rebellion, or like what the whole thing about how did your aunt or whatever get kidnapped and stuff, like before the Tower of Joy or whatever. Like you would think he would know that information on that. He is the three-eyed raven, but he doesn't. And I thought that was honestly, I thought that was kind of shitty writing in that part. I think Bran. In the books, I think Bran knows that already, knows that information. Yeah, I think Bran is the sole person who knows everything about Jon and where he's come from. But I will say, going into it, I agree with you, James. I think they should have used a different actor for Rhaegar. He looks so much like Viserion. It's crazy. Yeah. It's like that's not the way to go when it comes to Rhaegar, because if you look like him, and we all know we don't like Viserion, he's a little shit. I thought though, because when the narration starts, it starts, of course, Jon getting wanting that booty, kind of hesitating a little bit. He's like, "Oh, should I? Yeah, let's do it." When he knocks on the door, when Bran. That was the whole kind of love scene to play out, because Bran is saying like, yes, he loved her, and then you see Daenerys open the door, and then she loved him, and then the camera goes to Jon, to showcase that, that this is happening, that they both love each other, this and that. And then when they start getting it on, I would agree with you that the narration at that point was a little bit jarring.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, but the narration before that was fine. I was like, okay, that plays really well. I saw what they did there. But the narration when like Jon kind of takes a moment and looks at Daenerys, and I think I could just picture the director like, "Go, Jon, lift up your head real quick. We're gonna time you. We're doing a narration thing. Okay, when I say action, lift up your head. Action, lift up your head. Okay, go back to kissing her." I felt like somebody was like just yelling at Jon, like, for editing purposes, like, So I thought that, I agree with you that narration could have they could have kind of cut out of that whole love scene and then went to just Bran, and then Sam continued talking.
Yeah, I think the whole Bran and Sam thing could have just been the precursor to that scene with Jon and Dany. I would have been fine with that. Yeah. But in the moment where Sam and Bran are saying, well, he's the rightful king and he needs to know, and then like you said, Jon looks up and he's staring at her. First of all, I mean, I don't want to get into my personal life, but I've never stared deeply into someone's eyes like that for a minute and not been like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm like, why are you just like staring at, like, yes, you guys are in love, but you guys are making like passionate love, baby. There ain't no time to stare. It's just time to just get all wrestle, baby. Time to wrestle. But
Jon's got a thrust on him too, by the way.
Oh yeah, I was kind of waiting for Daenerys to like flip over. I'm like, okay, enough of Jon's ass. To see that Daenerys booty, baby. But no, we didn't get that.
Yeah, you did a little bit. You saw a little bit.
A little bit. But I saw more in Terminator Genesis than I did in that boat sex.
That's why I just gotta say they're both toned. They're very toned.
Yeah, I agree with you, James. It made me want to work out, though. Like, God,
yeah, I gotta get toned
back
like
at it. Gotta get back at it.
But the guy's got bumps. Okay, for a six pack, they just go like waves like this. It's not human. I'm sorry, it's not human.
I'm not gonna lie to you too. The sex scene was a little bit like kind of awkward. It's definitely awkward knowing that, like, it happened, but it happened with Jon still being the nephew and Daenerys being the aunt. So
Well, I mean, like, this is Game of Thrones, man.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
everyone's related to someone somehow. You know, there's a lot of incest going on in Game of Thrones in
And
Westeros.
honestly, when John finds out he is Targaryen, I think he's going to be shocked in the beginning, but I think deep down he knows that it doesn't matter. He is a Stark. He will always be a Stark. To me, I think a lot of the audience believe that, yes, he's Targaryen, but since season 1 and throughout, he's still going to be a Stark to me. He's still going to be not Aegon Targaryen, but still going to be Jon Snow to me.
Is that his name, Aegon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that part. No, I just think that he's gonna be John. Like, he's gonna be who he is. I mean, he's all about honor. He's all about his word, and he's known the Starks. I mean, all his life because he's a Snow and a Stark. But figuring out that he's Targaryen, I don't think it's gonna change in one bit. He's still like gonna be John. He's still gonna be the same guy. But even let's just say that Daenerys does become queen of Westeros. He's gonna be king because automatically, if she's queen, he's gonna be king. And so maybe he will let her rule because he doesn't want that. He doesn't want even if he figures out he's Targaryen, he's still not gonna want that. John's not that. He just wants to belong somewhere. He just wants to. That's all he wants to do is just belong.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, James. John never took power. It was handed to him through his achievements. It was something that he worked indirectly for, and it was just a result of, his bravery, his actions, and his ability to see the bigger picture and not have any name, just the fact that he's been a bastard this whole time. Now, the thing that I'm wondering about is Dany going to be around when his true parentage is revealed to him, or is he going to tell her? And when she does find out, is she going to feel threatened because his claim is stronger than hers? And also the fact that they just boned because they're aunt and nephew.
Yeah, I don't think Dany's going to care about that because she knows that Targaryen blood, it's not that big of a deal. And honestly, I think she'd feel the same way. Like, you're still a Stark to me. I mean, but I think she's definitely going to be around because they are sailing together to Winterfell. I don't think she's going to hear it the same time. I think John's going to hear it because John still has a reunion with Bran to go. And I think Bran's going to take him.
And Arya.
And Arya, yeah. And I think Bran's going to tell him kind of privately. But when Dany does find out, I don't think it's going to matter to her too much. I think she's so in love with Jon at this point. It's like, I don't care. We could rule together. That means it makes it perfect for us to rule together even more. And that's what, before, I think that's what the episode 1 was to kind of showcase, like, they distrust each other. But this episode showcases, like, even when Daenerys was saying, like, if I would have trusted you in the very beginning, things would have been different. And I think from now on, there's that trust forever. So even if she learns it, I think it's going to be a good thing for her, especially.
Go ahead, James.
No, go ahead.
The point of view that I got from John and Dany, yeah, there's probably feelings involved, but I think once they both got on the same page, because it took Johnson convincing, to get Dany on his side and realize, like, you just need to stop fighting for the throne for a minute and worry about what's going on up north. I think when Dany came to his rescue and she saw everything in front of her with her own eyes, the realization that that's what could be left of Westeros if she doesn't help him, and the fear that both John and Dany have that if they fail, that's what they're going to become. And that's what everybody they've ever known and ever loved are going to become. And I just felt like the moment between them was maybe just a little bit of feelings involved, but mostly due to the fact that there is a huge chance that they could fail. And, why not? Why not share this with each other? Because we don't know what's going to happen after this going forward. Why not just enjoy ourselves? And I don't know.
I'm just gonna chime in real quick. I think Daenerys fell in love with him early, and I agree with you. After Daenerys came over to help Jon, I think that's when Jon fell in love with her. I think when they looked at each other, on that boat, on that boat. That was some, yeah, of course it could be the end of the world. So let's get some lust going on over here. But I think that's love right there, man. That's love right there. There's so many moments in there where like Daenerys looked back. She looked back. She's like, oh, there's John. But
He was
yeah.
checking him out so hard.
I think you know what, and you know what, this is the other problem with the season being only 7 episodes, is that they didn't have time to really kind of like showcase more of that relationship, grow more and trust more. You see a lot of other series where it grows. Even like Ygritte and John had a little bit more time to develop than Daenerys and John. I mean, yeah, Daenerys and John, and even Daenerys and Drogo, they had time to develop too, even though that relationship was all jacked up. But
that was hot. Oh, that was some hot season 1 stuff.
That's some Jessica Jones, Luke Cage stuff. That's right there. I've been watching Defenders. I'm sorry.
I noticed.
But yeah, just it's going to be interesting going down the further down the line. What season 8's upon us. So let's get into that real quick.
I just want to say something really quick before we go on. Well, with the whole, John's gonna figure out he's Targaryen and everything. Yeah. You know how Daenerys, she wants to be queen of Westeros. That's what she wants. That's what she, I think that she's gonna be mad at first because she wants to be queen. She wanted this ever since she got burned and everything like that and survived the fire. That's what she wanted. I think when she figures out that John's Targaryen also and that he's the rightful heir to the throne, I think she's gonna be a little mad at him, maybe a little resentful, and then she's gonna just go and just like be pissed off at him at first, but then I think she's gonna come back because she actually does love him and everything. But I think she just sees this as a way that's in her way, she yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, and I think they would actually they'll probably showcase maybe like some time apart, not time apart, but just like have their own space and think about what the hell this means, because it is a big thing. It's definitely a big thing to learn that John is the true rightful heir of the thrones. And then you're right, James. You're absolutely right. Daenerys has been. This is her whole thing. This has been since season 1. She is going after that throne. She's trying to rule Westeros. I think but after a while, it's going to be fine. It's going to be absolutely fine. Honestly. Because
she's, going to figure out that she does actually love him. And then they're going to figure out, we can rule together. But like I said, John's not going to want it. He doesn't want the throne. He even if he figured out he's when he's told he's Targaryen, he's going to just say, I don't want it. But if he does go with it and marry it, as say they do, I think he's going to appoint Sansa Lady of the North.
Oh, yeah. I think, I don't think John, at this point, I don't think John's going to rule the North. Yeah. I think it's either, it's most likely Sansa. Honestly, I mean, we already know Bran doesn't want it, so Sansa wants it, so Sansa's going to get it.
Yeah.
So predictions on season 8. What do you think is going to happen? Like, what do you think the overall ending? So the one question for season 8, like, what's the ending? What's the ending for season 8? Do you at this point?
Winter is here. That's the ending. Winter is here. No, I mean, well, let's talk about since it's the season 8, let's talk about the White Walkers finally getting to the wall. They finally get there, and they're you just see one come out, and then you see just all of them come, and then you see the Night King on the dragon flying around, and he's busting a hole through the wall. And then everyone's scrambling, and no one has time to get a raven out to let everyone else know. Oh, so they're marching already. They're on their way. They're coming up.
I just think that I honestly didn't expect that to be a season finale event. And I almost felt like once they got the dragon, I was like, oh, okay, this is very likely going to happen at the end of this season. And for season 8, guys, we haven't had massive character deaths in a while. Yeah, we got Littlefinger, but we're gonna lose a lot of people. Let's just be honest. We have a long time for season 8 to come out, and we're gonna have very few people left at the end of season 8. And the guys at the wall right now, Tormund, Dolores Ed, they're hugely outnumbered right now. There's no way they can win that fight. So I mean, at least the pilot episode, we're gonna lose some characters that we've known for a long time now.
I absolutely agree. There's going to be tons and tons of character deaths coming into season 8. I mean, especially if they only make it 6 episodes, you're going to see those coming pretty fast. You're going to see a lot of deaths. It's sad, of course, but this is Game of Thrones. This is what kind of like that everybody always puts in their video, that Ramsay Bolton quote, you know, if you think this has a happy ending, when you haven't been paying attention. George R.R. Martin even said it was going to be a bittersweet ending. Talking about the wall real quick, you're right, James. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I liked it, but I didn't like it. I love the spectacle of I love the shot. I love the overall, you know, visual effects of that wall come crashing down, but I wanted a little bit more. I was expecting a little bit more of a fight between the wildlings and the crows for some reason. I was expecting them at least to draw their arrows and fire at something, take out somebody, not just watch as this whole, you know, I get it. The dragon came and they're like, oh, we're screwed. I was expecting a little bit more of that moment, honestly. I was kind of let down, but not because of the spectacle of the whole thing. But I mean, this wall has been up for so damn long, and then boom, it's gone. Yep, here comes the dragon. But I know you guys are probably disagree on me on that, but that's how I felt. That's how I kind of
100% disagree on you, good sir.
I felt like it was like a Littlefinger thing, you know. As much as the death was cool and I loved it, and I loved the acting, the performance, I just felt like, you know, this is something I've seen how many seasons of. And it kind of just went like that, just like the whole season's pacing, just like that.
I have to say, I'm not too offended by the fact that there's not 10 episodes. I mean, there are longer episodes than normal, so it kind of makes up for it in that aspect.
Oh, last night's episode was definitely a long one.
It was really long, yeah. But I have to say, the structure is in their favor at this point. It's not serving us anymore. It's to finish what we started a long time ago. Dan and Dave have been bored of this for a long time. If you've been living under a rock, they've definitely expressed working on other TV shows as far as writing. They're going to be moving to another TV show pretty soon. I feel like they're barely involved as it is, and that is what bothers me the most, is their lack of attention to detail, as when they were originally hyped about getting this on HBO to begin with.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, look at moving on from season 8, and I honestly, with the bittersweet ending, I really do think that Jon's gonna die. I think maybe, you know, Daenerys is going to be have a son or a daughter from Jon, but I really feel like Jon's going to die, and he's going to be one of those casualties, like a lot of people. I think Jaime's going to die. I think a lot of people are going to die. But yeah, Taylor, you know, that's a shame too. That's a shame that they feel that way, and because I feel like, you know, okay, we have one more season left, right? Let's just say it's 6 episodes. You should be more excited to finish this off, but do it in the right way. And that's how shows become super legendary. Because I've been seeing a lot of comments. They're not feeling the pacing of this season as well. They're not feeling the writing of the season as well. And I got to agree. I mean, it's kind of crazy how Game of Thrones, the last 2 seasons, you don't pay attention to those little details to finish it off, to cap it off, because this is like this to many is the greatest show of all time. But this season it just doesn't feel like a Game of Thrones kind of season. how do you struggle like that, and how do you feel like that when others, when you should look at other shows that have been able to accomplish going from beginning to end, even though being tired of what they're doing. Breaking Bad is a good example. Sons of Anarchy is a good example. Good Sons of Anarchy is a mixed bag, but it's really sad to see, like, to hear that, and to hear, like, just overall them being so tired of it, and it shows. It definitely shows this season. So to ask you guys, what did you think about season 7? Was it where is this? Is this, was this worth all the hype leading up to this, or was it a little bit? It was good, but it just didn't live up to the hype like everybody was bringing upon. So, I agree.
I agree.
Right.
I'll go so that I don't know what just happened there. I am fearful, guys, that when we look back on this, we're gonna not only think it ourselves, but we're gonna hear a lot of other people say that Game of Thrones ended up being not like exactly like Lost, but in that kind of realm, something that started with a bang, and just I'm really fearful of the last season, guys. I really am.
What about you, James?
I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought, yeah, it was a little fast, and yeah, it sucked that it was only 7 episodes because we're used to 10. That's what I'm used to. I know it's a lot of people are doing that. Netflix is doing that. Amazon's doing that. They're just cutting down their episodes, and I don't like that. I want my full 10. I want to see what happens. But I think what they're doing is that they're just like getting more dramatic, more excitement for the next one, so people can look forward to that. But I mean, I like the pacing of this one. I thought it was fine. I'm not too into the details like you guys are. I know you guys are like pros at that stuff. I go on entertainment value. I was entertained throughout the whole entire thing. I loved every single scene. There was a couple slow stuff here and there, yeah, but I liked it. I liked the pacing. I thought it was great. I thought everything was kind of laid out and going to we are getting close to our last hurrah. This is going to be our last season coming up. I thought this was kind of a great lineup to that.
Where do you rank this season at then, James?
I mean, I rank it at maybe like a 6, 6 out of 10 for me. I mean, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was good. There were some things, of course, like I said, that were kind of slow paced, kind of set, but as for me, like going, there's a lot in that in this season, and I did like the season a lot.
How about you, Taylor? What do you kind of rate? What would you rate this season?
I feel comfortable with James's rating of a 6 out of 10. My reasons are different, though. A lot of the big scheming, I didn't see. There was character deaths off screen, which this show is known for killing people in not only surprising ways, but really out of nowhere and gruesome ways. And Elena Tyrell died off screen. The Sand Snakes died off screen. I was a little disappointed in that. But I have to say, production-wise, I'm not going to complain there. Costume design was great. The effects were great. White Walkers, we've all talked about how much we like those. I really enjoy that. And I feel like in a lot of circumstances, the writing isn't to be. I'm just a little more disappointed in how fast it's going. I'm not really upset that it's fewer episodes. I'm more upset about how much they're trying to cram into these few episodes.
Yeah, guys, I agree. I would rate it out of all the game. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 because there's a lot to like about this season. I mean, the dragons were still really awesome to see, like a lot in the season. Daenerys and Jon finally meeting up. I really did think that did kind of live up to the hype I thought there was chemistry there, honestly. I thought also some of the action sequences were really great. I thought the dialogue was really good. I thought a lot of the dialogue in this season, like the lines that these actors and actresses would deliver, were like kind of on point. Especially with the old woman Tyrell. What's her name?
Elena.
Oh, Elena. Yeah, when that conversation
Yeah.
with Jimmy, whew, she did not hold back. I love that. I love a lot. There was a lot of fan service this season, but I thought some of the fan service really worked in here. The thing that I have, of course, is the pacing. I mean, there's no denying that, but it's not necessarily like, James, 10 episodes. I would love 10 episodes, but you could do 7. But you have to be on point with the writing. I think what really got me was the writing. What really got me was the just overall the plot holes, the things that didn't really make sense, the time issue of everything. This season felt like The Dark Knight Rises, where everything looked beautiful, everything was directed great, the acting was stellar. Your favorite characters were on screen, but a lot of things that happen throughout, let's say The Dark Knight Rises, a lot of things that happen throughout the film, that doesn't make sense. How did he get here from here? Wait, How did he escape that? Wait a minute. Like a lot of questions kept on popping up this season. So that's why it's kind of like, I still felt it was kind of a little bit predictable. There were some parts that were not. I mean, I was shocked, which was great. But then there were some parts, like let's say Littlefinger's demise, that was a little bit like, and you kind of knew that was coming. I gotta agree with you, Taylor. I think we needed more deaths in here, not off screen, because to me, I thought those sand snakes were going to come back in the picture later on. I mean, they showcased the key, they showcased our cure, they showcased all this stuff, but they're dead. And we didn't get to see them die. We were just told how they were going to die. There was a lot of tell, not show. And overall, I had a good time with the season. I loved a lot of things about the season, but then I hated a lot of things about the season. So Taylor, I am on the same boat with you, where
not the sex boat,
but the season 8 boat.
Okay.
The season 8 boat, where it's got me worried. It's got me worried because my whole thing is that you can have a weak beginning but a strong middle, or a strong beginning and a little bit of weak middle, or a strong beginning and a little bit weak middle. But if that ending does not satisfy you, then what was the whole point of watching all this shit? So if Game of Thrones, sadly, if it does not have a good ending, I'm going to say, what was the whole point of watching Game of Thrones?
And the thing is, this show has broken so many records, Emmy records, ratings. HBO, once they realized what they had on their hands, they just started throwing money at them to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And, season 8, I'm going to be worried when it comes to that finale and those credits roll. Am I going to be crying because I'm happy, or am I going to be crying because I'm mad?
Yeah. How you feel, James?
Oh, I mean, like I said, what? Would you stop laughing? I'm trying to do something here.
Oh, sorry.
Be professional.
Whatever, man. You couldn't even keep your composure about boat sex.
You're the one talking about boat sex all the time.
What? It was boat sex. What do you want?
I find it hilarious, before you go, James, that, John, when he does get down, it's in these really weird places like cave sex and boat sex. You never just go to your room, bro.
No. He wants that waterbed type of stuff.
Oh, that boat was rocking too.
Yeah. He's like, I don't have to move too much.
Woo! Rocking, right?
Yeah.
Now I forgot what I was gonna say.
Sorry.
You're gonna say that you're gonna look forward to season 8, and you think that's gonna be amazing.
There you go. I'm gonna look forward to season 8, and I'm gonna look forward to everything in it. I don't go. It's good. It's good. That's it.
Let's just hope it's not a Death Note.
Oh God, dude! Don't get.
I wanted to tell. I saw James's comment before we started. I'm like, yeah. Oh man. But yeah, so I mean, it's sad though, but like Game of Thrones is over at this point. We gotta wait till either next year or in 2 years,
Yeah.
depending on HBO. But there is, for me, Westworld's coming back, so I have something to hold my attention for HBO. But
Yeah.
damn, I love Game of Thrones. It's my number one show. It's still my number one show. But we'll see how season 8 plays out, and we'll see how the ending. I mean, it's crazy. We're already here. We're at the ending. We're at the final episodes of Game of Thrones, and I'm gonna get my tissue box ready because I know there's gonna be some crazy deaths happening, and I'm just gonna look really forward to it. But so we're done, guys. I mean, until next year or 2 years from now, we're gonna be doing another breakdown of Game of Thrones. We'll see. We're gonna see how it goes. But what's next, guys? What are you guys gonna watch next? I mean, new TV shows are coming out. For me, it's American Horror Story. Walking Dead is right around the corner. I mean, there's so many shows that are Westworld is gonna appear pretty soon. Narcos, can't wait for that. One of my favorite shows. So what's on your guys' list?
Don't jump in, James.
Yeah, don't talk all at once, please.
Ladies first.
Okay. Well, I'm absolutely excited for The Walking Dead, especially for, how everything ended in the last season, and now they're ready to get stuff done. So I'm ready to see that ball go forward. Not a whole lot of stuff on my show list as of right now. There's not a lot of stuff that's jumping out at me. I kind of just roll with it. That's pretty much it.
You're so cool, Taylor.
Mine is I can't wait for the Inhumans to start. Marvel's Inhumans. That's going to be a pretty good one. I can't wait to see what they butcher in that one. Ramsey Bolton is in that one. He's in Inhumans.
Yeah.
Then they have The Gifted, which is I can't wait to see that one because that one is based on the X-Men. That one is based on, like the X-Men were in the past kind of. Now these are the new X-Men. So I can't wait to see that one, what they bring to that. Awesome. Also, like those are honestly like really the only two I can think of off the top of my head right now. I'm watching Rick and Morty, of course.
We're still watching Rick and Morty.
Yeah. There's also what else? Just Rick and Morty. I'm watching this one really. It's funny, dumb. It's on Netflix called Norseman. It's about Vikings and it's a comedy. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. It's like a lot of like sarcastic humor.
Yeah.
And it's pretty funny. I'm on the third episode and I think it's hilarious.
I gotta check that out.
What's coming back now that I just remembered is South Park.
Oh yeah, South Park. Yeah. I haven't seen South Park in a long time, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I watched it.
Oh, God. I was a little taught when the pilot episode aired, and like I don't know if you guys remember, but I think that one is like the alien butt probe one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like 4 or 5 years old, so that just shows
12.
you my parents, their parenting.
You were 12.
I was 12.
I was. Hold it.
Yeah.
I was young.
I was old.
I was watching Dragon Ball Z. But yeah. So I'm still also trying to finish off Defenders. I think I'm 2 episodes away from finishing off Defenders.
What do you think so far?
It's okay. It's not bad. Yeah. Daredevil is definitely the heart of that show.
Yes.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm working on that, and definitely we're gonna do a lot more videos. Taylor, James doesn't watch Walking Dead, so he can't be involved. So Taylor, we're gonna do some Walking Dead. I think we should do some Walking Dead breakdowns too. I mean, there's some news. I know it's a Game of Thrones, breakdown, but just to let you know, we're probably going to be really focusing on The Walking Dead because The Walking Dead's another big show that we very much like, and there's been a lot of things going on over there in Walking Dead with a lot of lawsuits and whether how long the series is going to last. So if you guys want to check us out, me and Taylor are going to definitely do a some breakdowns on the Walking Dead episodes. Me and James, I think we should do at the end of the Rick and Morty season. We should do a Rick and Morty review.
Definitely should do that.
So far, I'm really loving it.
Yeah. The first 4 episodes I didn't like so much. The last 2 I liked a lot.
You didn't like Pickle Rick?
Yeah, Pickle Rick is awesome. I love Pickle Rick.
He's such a meme.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna rock the shirt. I'm gonna get a shirt of Pickle Rick.
They got the Funko Pops coming out of Pickle Rick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm getting a Funko Pop of Pickle Rick.
They have him with the laser and then him with the 2 knives.
Oh yeah. So I don't have it with me right now, but I actually bought the Game of Thrones wine.
Ooh.
So saving that baby for the last episode of next season's Game of Thrones.
So you're gonna hold on to it for 2 years?
I am.
Ugh.
Good luck
that drink.
I don't even like wine, so I'm gonna take a sip. There's actually 3 wines. So to let you guys know before we cap it off, if you guys are feeling down and you want to rewatch a lot of the Game of Thrones, but you want some wine in your system, go to Bevmo. Bevmo has 3 different kinds of Game of Thrones wine. They have Chardonnay, red wine, and this $50 bottle that I didn't get because it was too much. So if you want wine in your system and you want to watch some Game of Thrones, but you want some Game of Thrones wine, there you go.
I'll stick to the mead.
Oh, that's gross. God, it's disgusting, James. What the hell's wrong with you?
I'm talking about beer, man, not the actual mead.
Oh, they said mead.
That's my mead.
I've had mead at the Renaissance Festival. It still ties into Game of Thrones. It's disgusting.
It was all right. Really quick though, I do want to watch the Mayans when they come out, so all 3 of us could do the Mayans because they're Mexican, and I want to.
Have you watched Sons of Anarchy?
Huh?
Did you watch Sons of Anarchy?
No.
Oh.
You haven't?
I mean, respectfully, no.
You're gonna watch Sons if you're gonna watch Mayan.
Dude, the Mayans
not necessarily. I mean, honestly, James doesn't have to. It's not gonna be based off that mythology. It's gonna take place 2 years after. Well, I don't want to spoil you, but after a certain event. So it's 2 years after Sons of Anarchy. So he's not going to be missing anything, and it's focused entirely on different characters. You got your Sons of Anarchy girl right here.
I've been watching Okius Taylor. I know what's going on with the Mayans. See, so I know it's 2 years after, and I know that one of the characters tweeted out that he shouldn't have tweeted out. And see, I keep up.
Yep.
Oh, James.
Actually, you got to stick around for this Wednesday, James. I'm doing my video for my season 1 predictions for the Mayans MC, and it's based on character names and descriptions that have already been released.
Oh, cool. I'm definitely watching that. Like I said, I want to see the Mayans because they're like, 1, they have a cool ass name, and 2, like they're all Mexican, even though I'm only half. But still, I like that.
You're
and
Mexican?
I think they're going to be better than the Sons of Anarchy. I think they're going to be better than them. I think they're going to do more ass kicking, more gun toting, more whatever they do.
Yeah, how do you say that? What do you
It's gonna be a bloody show. They're dealing with the cartel, and that's some messy stuff. That's not your Irish gun runners, and that's not your local NCs or crime syndicate. That's the real deal.
I think we talked about that. It's more brutal, honestly.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's what you're doing, Okius Taylor. What are you doing, James, on Super Nerd 81 channel?
Oh God, dude, I've been lagging so much, man. Don't get me started, dude. I still have to do the Defenders, even though that came out the 18th.
Did you watch it all?
I watched it all,
okay.
But I just been work. And then I have my Death Note one ready. But I gotta redo it because I gave it too much of a good rating. I said it was good.
Oh, man.
That's it. I said it was good, but now I gotta go to it just sucked. So I gotta do a whole new one. I got my my comics still to do, my Champions, which is amazing. This is a really good book. I got a lot to do, just need the time to do it.
So Game of Thrones is over, so I can focus on some other kind of videos. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of I'm still gonna do some Game of Thrones videos in season 8 when it comes. I'm going to do especially Walking Dead's coming, so we're gonna do that. I'm definitely doing the Harry Potter thing because I was practicing the other day and it's going to be amazing. What the Harry Potter thing is basically me doing a live stream on OBS with some Harry Potter gifts and me actually reading chapters 1 through 5 of the first book of Harry Potter.
You read?
I do.
No way.
When I could see.
Ouch.
Dude, all that show is going to be like this.
First of all, you're not even going to see my face. You're going to see the gifts.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good because all we're going to see is
First of all, James, comic books is not reading. That's picture books. Picture books.
It's a book and it has pages.
If it has a plot and it has character developments, it's a book.
Thank you, Taylor.
I don't know. Anyway, so,
mic drop.
And then you know what? I got to get the Defenders review out. I'm gonna get also Glow because I've been wanting to do the Glow review pretty.
Oh, dude, let's do a live one of that one. I loved Glow.
I don't know. You're making fun of me, so no. And so I'm gonna do that. And you know what? You guys look for December because I am really thinking about doing another giveaway for everybody who has been listening and stuff. Right, so giveaway might be who knows, it might be an individual giveaway or it might be another loot crate. So our Dan Demands loot crate style. And we all know how awesome that last one was. But,
hey, that was pretty awesome. I ain't gonna lie.
So, and then, also look forward. The NFL season is upon us. So I will be doing, I should be getting Sundays off. So I should be doing some live commentary on the game. Just trying to get somebody else to be involved. So some Oakland Raider games, baby. Raiders we're hoping to win this year. So we'll see how that goes. But Game of Thrones is over. I'm sad about that. So at least football's coming. So I can look forward to that. But so I want to thank you guys. Thank you, Super Nerd 81. Thank you, Theokius Taylor, for doing these Game of Thrones breakdowns. And I love the Game of Thrones breakdowns because we cover pretty much everything Game of Thrones. And it's good to see different opinions, even though James is wrong. It's good to see different opinions most of the time. So look forward to these guys' videos. Of course, James, we need some more Funko Pop videos, baby. Let's get some Funko Pop Rick.
I haven't done that in a long time, man, dude. I'm a baller on the budget, dude.
I want to see that Pickle Rick Funko Pop video, man.
Pickle Rick, dude. I'm definitely gonna do that.
All right, and Taylor, of course, all your videos are always amazing. You just got, you're expanding more with a lot of your tech and stuff. So I look forward to seeing the different editing styles, the different audio styles that you use in your videos. And yeah, guys, until next time, until we talk more Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. So the final episodes, winter is coming, and it's here.
It's here.